Hello again, and welcome to this edition of Washington Demon Coaches Show, also known as the Patterson Van Weldon Power Hour. We're thrilled to be joined again in the studio by Mr. Brent Van Weldon. How are you doing today, Brent?
I'm doing great.
We've got a couple of really awesome guests today. Collin Stark, who is here, which makes this 2 for 3 for him. Was it Meatloaf? Was it Meatloaf who said 2 out of 3 ain't bad?
It ain't bad.
So that's not bad, Mr. Stark. If that was a shooting percentage, you'd be in good stead. We're also joined by Evan Vandermolen, one of the senior basketball players for the varsity team, who's having a really great year. Has been fun to watch. Brings a lot of energy to the team. Has contributed in a lot of different ways, especially kind of physically underneath, I find. So we'll talk to Evan here in a little bit. So, Mr. Van Weldon, what's going on in the world of activities directing?
A lot.
Yeah.
You want some more details?
I don't know. That seemed a little, too general.
Yeah. So just kind of recapping some of the things that went on last week. The wrestling team, I'll put a shout out there. We won the Waco Invitational. I think it's the first tournament we've won in quite some time, so it's
awesome.
Nice to get back on the top of the podium there, and we had 3 individual champs and a lot of high placers. So
who were your individual champs?
Aaron Boone, Caden Greiner, and Chase Greiner. So we had 5 in the final, so it was a great run. We were actually losing. I shouldn't say losing. We were actually in second place by 10 points going into the final round and end up winning by 4. So it was pretty exciting.
So did you have any of those matches where first place team and the second place team, you guys, were battling it out for that?
Yeah, Chase Greiner's final match. So that put us over the top.
So he won and it sealed the deal for us?
Sealed the deal for us,
That's great. Awesome job, Chase.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, basketball is going on last week with Keokuk, and then the girls turned around and played him again Tuesday. Big games coming up tomorrow night with Mount Pleasant.
Basketball for the girls, they had senior night. I did the announcing for that. That was I didn't have to get into any scraps with their coaches. They were actually very nice. So despite my best efforts,
you kept things under wraps a little bit.
But they had, I think, 3 or 4 senior girls basketball players, and then they had a dance team member. So it was nice for them. And I don't know when the boys. So the boys had an Anamosa game. I think we talked to Mr. Stark about this here in a bit, but I don't know if they're making that up because that was supposed to be senior night for the boys.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be senior night for both boys and girls for Anamosa, and obviously that was an interesting night. We actually had a JV tournament in Solon that I was driving to, and as we were driving through North Liberty, I'm kind of sidetracking a little bit here. We were driving through.
It's called the non sequitur.
Yeah, as driving through North Liberty, I'm like, "What is that noise?" And one of the kids in back says, "Well, we're in a tornado warning." I said, "Well, that's great. What do I do?" So we just kept driving. Got to Solon. We're still in a tornado warning. And then
did they call it off up there?
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
No, most of the teams were already there. So we were there by 3:00. And then I had learned that Anamosa had canceled because of the tornano.
I heard a lot of their parents were actually down here, close to getting down here already.
Could have been. But anyway, the girls are going to make that game up. We haven't found a date for the boys yet. It doesn't look like anything's going to match up. So we're going to, maybe still try and do that or try and find another opponent.
Okay.
I think Coach Stark has an idea when he wants to have senior night, so I'll let him talk about that. But it's always, it's always important to, introduce the seniors and their parents, and they always mean a lot to our teams and our programs, and obviously it takes a lot of time for the parents, starting young, going to all these games. They spend a lot of hours in the gym supporting the athletics, so it's always nice to do that.
So getting back to some of our activities, you mentioned archery when we were off the air.
Right, archery had a home tournament just past weekend, and they won all 3 levels, so they're continuing their dominance throughout the area, and then they head to Central DeWitt, which is That's probably about an hour and a half drive, maybe this weekend. So they're going to branch out a little bit, see some more competition. We had SEBA Honor Band had a tryouts, I think, a couple weeks ago, and this weekend is the actual concert, I guess, up at the University of Iowa. And we had 3 high school students, and their names are Michaela Matheson, Kevin Raimundo, and Charlotte Windmill that all qualified for that. So congratulations to those 3. And then 1 middle school student. I'm going to mess this up, Robert, but I'm going to try. Robert Altied, just trying. Altied. But anyway, they are all qualified, and there's different categories, and they all qualified in the honor band category. So, great things going on with our band program still. So a big shout out to them. Wrestling's going to a 2-day tournament in Corning, Iowa, Southwest Valley High School. This weekend it's a 2-day tournament. So just a lot going on.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Well, congratulations to all the SEBA kids. That's great. Congratulations to the senior basketball players, especially the girls that have already had their senior night, and congratulations to the Waco wrestling champions.
Yeah.
Those are great. Anything else you got going on?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. The middle school, they got their basketball season rolling. They played Fort Madison Monday or Tuesday of this week, and the girls won big, 40-some to 6 or 8. So the 7th grade girls are rolling, and then I believe the 8th grade boys won as well. Grayson Hartman, who's one of our wrestlers in middle school, is also playing basketball, and he said he made the game-winning shot. I didn't ask what level. I was going to assume it was the A game, so we'll go with that. So
okay,
we'll say they won by 1 or 2 points.
Is this Braden's little brother?
It is, yeah.
But he's not super little.
No, he's not. He's good size. So,
all right. Well, why don't we go ahead and take our first break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Coach Collin Stark of the varsity boys basketball team and Evan Vandermolen. Thank you, Mr. Van Welden.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
Welcome back to the Washington Demon Coaches Show, a.k.a. the Patterson Van Welden Power Hour. I'm thrilled to be joined in the studio by head coach of the varsity boys basketball team, Collin Stark. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And one of my favorite players on the you can't be my first favorite. I have a first favorite. You're tied in the second kind of range. How about that? Evan Vandermolen. How you doing, Evan? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. I've enjoyed watching you play this year in particular, but I've followed you for quite a few years, obviously. So, Coach, why don't you give us the rundown how things are going and what you think of your team so far? We're now officially over halfway in the conference schedule, right? Maybe one game past halfway. So what are you thinking about things and what's kind of shaping up going forward?
Yeah, like we're 6-5, 5-1 in the conference though, so we're tied. Right now, I guess, with Mount Pleasant, Burlington, and Keokuk, didn't have their game or they had to move it, so they're technically 4-1. But there's really kind of a 3-team race right now for conference, and obviously this Friday against Mount Pleasant will be, a big game to, possibly deciding the conference champs, this year and even next week with Burlington. But to start the year off, we, played against Fairfield at home, which I thought was, to this point, was probably the best, all-around game that we had played. And then followed that up where we did go down to Burlington, Notre Dame, struggled a little bit with not turning the ball over against them. So we lost that game, but then came back and played really well against Keokuk down at their place where our press was starting to kind of really click.
I really liked that press. I mentioned that too after the Keokuk game. But what is it about Monday? It's a Monday thing, I think, sometimes where kids come off the weekend and it's just kind of, I don't know if it's hard to get going on Mondays to play. But that Burlington Notre Dame game, I was wondering if we were getting the other team's jerseys confused with ours because of how many times we were throwing the ball to them and things like that. And we seemed like we struggled to shoot a little bit that game too. So
yeah, and I think it's with conference games we get 3 days to prepare for those, and I think our guys are ready to go for those. But then it's a quick turnaround where there's the weekend, and then we have to be ready to play for the next game. So I think that's sometimes tough to have those games on Mondays without any practice.
You mentioned the Fairfield game being one of the better games of the season. What did you take away from that you felt like was so telling?
Yeah, I mean, I just even really the first 3 games of this second half of the year, Fairfield, we had 12 assists on 18 made buckets. So I thought we really shared the basketball, and then even more, Keokuk, we started to shoot the ball a lot better. In that game, Ethan Patterson tied his previous record again with 8 threes. And we had 19 assists against Keokuk. So I think, with each of those conference games and even 13 assists against Burlington Notre Dame. So I think, we're starting to really share the basketball, and I think that's key to find those mismatches and, be excited to, give that extra pass to, someone that might be more open than you are.
Yeah, I did know there's been some pretty balanced scoring. A lot of guys in double figures, and nobody seems to be really forcing things up. Although, Evan, you did have a shot that was kind of amazing that seemed a little forced. I think it turned into an and one. Mm-hmm. Was that in the Fairfield game?
Yeah.
I don't quite know what you did, but it looked like you were falling and sort of threw it up with your left hand, and it went in. Is that about what happened?
Yep. I pump faked, got him up in the air. I knew I was going to get the foul, so figured I might as well try.
Just let her fly, huh?
Yeah.
It was ugly. It was ugly and pretty all at the same time.
Yeah.
So, Coach, what are we thinking about tomorrow night? I mean, this is our second time with Mount Pleasant. We were in it. Well, we were down 1 in the fourth quarter or something like that, and then kind of the wheels fell off a little bit. I can't remember if it was foul trouble or if lost focus or what exactly. But how do we correct for that?
Yeah, I think that first time around, they were able to get into the paint. Kind of, not fairly easy, but they were able to get into the paint, and especially Ashton was able to get quite a few buckets inside.
Yeah.
So I think we have a little bit better game plan defensively this time around. Continuing to work on not fouling, because that was kind of towards the end of that game.
Achilles.
I think we had 2 or 3 guys that fouled out. In the Mount Pleasant game. So that's tough to kind of absorb that amount of fouls and putting them on the free throw line to kind of get free points in a way.
It feels to me like fouls were. We struggled with fouls earlier in the year. That seems to have, knock on wood, kind of gotten better, but I feel like your team defense has gotten substantially better since some of the earlier games, and now you've added this press, and I see it even getting better still. So I think that is to be commended. I mean, it's really a great turnaround. I mean, and the people are playing through their defense, right? So they're getting some, run outs and getting some easier baskets at times.
Yeah, and I think it goes to our players, and Evan, it seems like has 2 or 3, charges taken, or should be called charges taken, and that helps side defense, and the players I feel like have really bought into our identity, and I look forward to our game Friday, and continuing to build this identity of getting stops that lead to whether it's fast break points, and then 2, our half court offense has really started to click, and we have sets, but we're able to read still the defense of if they take something away, we're still able to score against their defense.
I noticed, I guess it was probably in the Keokuk game, it looked like maybe it was the Fairfield game, it looked like we were kind of driving and dishing pretty well. I don't remember which game it was, but we're doing a lot more of that, kind of breaking down the defense rather than settling for an outside shot or, forcing a pass inside. We're kind of moving the defense around and then moving the ball quickly to try to get some open looks.
Yeah.
So you want to take another break, Nick, and then we'll come back with the one and only Evan Vandermolen. It's going to be a high-pressure situation here.
Okay.
There you go.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross. Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
Oh, welcome back to the Washington Demon Coaches Show. I'm your host, Todd Patterson, if I haven't said that already. We're joined by head coach of the boys varsity basketball team, Collin Stark, and also one of the senior leaders on the team, Evan Vandermolen. So, Evan, thanks for being here today. Hope you're not missing class or anything like that.
Homeschooled, so kind of be flexible.
Well, I guess theoretically you could be missing class. You just
could be, but I'm not.
But tell me a little bit about your role on the team. As I mentioned, I've watched you play a lot. You probably got a little varsity time last year, but this year you're getting a lot of varsity minutes. And tell me, kind of how that's been going for you. Your role on the team. How do you kind of see your, what you do and what you give to the team?
Yeah, so I think I definitely bring a lot of physicality. I think I've always kind of been a more physical player, I guess, but this year I played football and I got a lot bigger, and that really helped with the physicality aspect of things too. And then, bringing energy, I think what kind of mentioned earlier, and then just being willing to score, but not forcing stuff, although sometimes I do.
Like the one we noted already.
Yeah.
But that was, that was like Jordan-like, That's the kind of stuff he did when he was
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Bob,
I'll be doing more of that. Or
I mean, if they go in.
Were you asking for permission?
Yeah.
That sounded like mostly no, though, if I'm being honest.
So yeah, just bring in energy, physicality. I think the biggest thing is defensive. Offensively, we have plenty of guys that can score the ball whenever we feel like we need to, but I think defensively is where I really help the team most.
So talk a little bit about your journey. Like I think the first time I probably saw you play was in 7th or 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I have any idea who you were, because homeschool probably, right?
Yeah.
So so you've been working, and now you get sort of big time varsity minutes, and you're really making big positive impacts in the game. Can you talk about that journey, like how you sort of keep working until you get to that goal?
Yeah. So 7th grade, I was playing C team, and I think that kind of before that, I'd been playing at Winfield. It was a much smaller school, and I was starting on that team there, so I felt like I was kind of just being given opportunities. But at Washington, it's a lot bigger, so I needed to work for it. So just that, just worker mentality, I think I got that, especially in 7th grade when I wasn't getting playing time at the higher levels, I guess. So that definitely started in 7th grade, and then through 8th grade, freshman year, just working a lot more. Just being consistent, shooting hoops in the driveway, working on my shot, playing lots of just pickup basketball at the Y, stuff like that. Just trying to be consistent in those ways.
Well, it definitely has paid off. It definitely shows. I think one of the reasons I really like watching you is the team can kind of be playing, and then you come into the game and there's like a spike in activity. It usually results in people on the floor somehow. That's what I've noticed.
Yep. I think I average probably a charge and then a bloody nose per game.
A charge and a bloody nose. And then, although the last game, so you got hit in the nose, right?
Yeah.
And you were bleeding. But Ethan claims the blood on the floor was his from his finger.
Yeah.
Is there some dispute about that, or?
I think when I got hit in the nose, it kind of splattered a little bit, but it could have been both and. I don't think it was just
Both
one
and.
of us.
Okay, well, it's basketball, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a bloody sport. So what are you looking forward to the rest of this year here with basketball?
I think our team is definitely gelling a lot better now. Like we mentioned earlier, working the ball around a lot better, knowing each other's strengths. It's been hard because we haven't played together since 8th grade. So just knowing each other's strengths, knowing each other's weaknesses, how we all play, that type of stuff. So I think we're gelling a lot better now, and that's a lot more fun to play. It's also probably more fun to watch as we work the ball around, get better shots.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to growing in that, but also we've come a long way. So
You excited about tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure.
I think our student section might be ready for that game.
I think so. Yeah. It'll be fun.
We were not treated very well down there, so we'll see how that goes coming back. I'm ready to have a home game.
Yep.
So what you got any future plans? Do you have any idea what you want to do after?
So next year I'll probably go to Faith Baptist Bible College in Ankeny, and I'll probably take some just mainly biblical classes there to get just a better understanding of what I believe, and mainly what I want to do in life is just be really involved in our church. I am right now, and that's awesome. I want to be living for God and serving God, glorifying God in those ways. But as like a vocation, I'm thinking probably not a pastor.
I was going to ask.
Yeah. I'd like to get into farming, so not exactly sure if college is really going to be necessary for that. I might have some college education anyway, but we'll see.
Okay. No desire to play cajon professionally?
No, not really.
I should mention that Evan's parents, it's Willie and Lori, right?
Lisa,
sorry. Yep. Willie and Lisa. Happy birthday. I don't know when her birthday was exactly.
It was Monday.
Happy birthday, Lisa. So they're turns out huge Fatback Boy fans. So it's great to see them at our gig the other night. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. So I'm uncomfortable with this subject, but Stark said he's good with it. So can we hear the Patty running point total and where that is right now?
Yeah, I think when we talk about, Ethan's accomplishments, he currently is at 1,137 points. It's a great accomplishment for him, and we've talked about for even the guys with, all the assists that we've been having, quite a few of them going to him. But it also is a time for kind of the historians or the Washington, past players that, also kind of saying their names as well, where right now Ethan is 2 behind Todd Frederick, and then the next in line, which is second most, was Chris Griffith, and then the leading is Steve Brown. So those are the names that Ethan's kind of trying to.
So what was the point total for Chris Griffith?
So Chris Griffith is 1,166. So Ethan's 20. My math is right. Is 29 away from him. So okay. It's pretty close with the third and second.
We're pretty compressed, yeah.
Yep,
and then Isaac Gardner was while you're at it.
Yep, Isaac Gardner had, I think it was like 1,030 something. So Ethan passed him a couple games ago.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, well, I appreciate both of you being here. I appreciate the stat tracking. Unless you guys have something else to add, I've actually got a hospital meeting at 2:30, so I probably should get on with that. For Washington Demon Coaches Show, Patterson Van Weldon Power Hour, I'm your host, Todd Patterson. It's been great having you. Have a great day.